Today, we have Joe Davis with Nextiva to discuss the future of Nextiva. Welcome, Joe.
Hello, welcome. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you great.
Perfect. I always hate how these things are informal, so I'm just going to talk as if we're just a couple girls in the room here. This is the professional slide of my background of who I am. I was hired by Nextiva about 4.5 months ago, but I've lived in the CCaaS space either as a direct seller, selling CCaaS or CX, or through partner sales for the majority of the last 10 years. Mostly with late-stage startup CCaaS companies. We can talk offline about more details into the history, but really who I am. If you go to my LinkedIn page, it's a little bit more my speed of I am a sarcasm advocate. I am a proud father of 2 children, husband to a wonderful wife of 19 years. I'm a dog person, not a cat person. Again, happy to fight that argument with you if you're cat people. I just don't understand it. But that's who I am. A fitness, food, and fun advocate. So happy to talk about life, happy to talk about any of those things. But what I want to talk about today is where I'm going to do a little bit of marketing approved messaging, and then I'm going to give a little bit of my own insight as to what I've seen over the last 10 years and why I come to Nextiva in this infancy of the new unified CXM that Nextiva has to offer. So old world versus new world Nextiva. One thing I want to make sure that we're clear of, the customers that we have already, 16-year history of great SMB into lower enterprise voice customers. We have $350 million in recurring revenue. We have 100,000 customers. We will continue to support those deployments and those customers, and we will continue to be a vendor or a supplier who are for people who want to see possibility of making changes. But I want to talk about this change that we've made and the old Nextiva versus where we are with present and future state. The new Nextiva unified CXM means 3 different AI-powered solutions that will be unified on one single platform. Now, as of today, we can sell, support, and deploy all 3 of our solutions. They currently do not all sit on the same platform. 9, 12, 15 months from now, we will be talking about all 3 of these solutions living and breathing and being deployed on one single platform. Again, it doesn't stop us from being able to sell and support these 3, but the truth, candidly, is right now we're selling them, and there's still on the back end some stitching that's happening to get them all to work together. A lot of the new messaging with Nextiva falls into this 3-box or 3-segmented visual, and I'm a visual learner, so I like seeing this so that we can talk individually about the 3. I'm going to talk mostly about the middle and the right box that you see here, the customer experience and the brand management. I know a lot of people on this call have already seen NCX or NDX, the Nextiva social media brand management and reputation piece. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I'm also going to talk more about Nextiva Contact Center. So the box on the left, again, represents what we can offer from a UC, a unified communications, or a voice path. We have solutions for knowledge workers, back office workers. Dial this person at extension 123 in finance when we need this. This has been our bread and butter for the last 16 years. We've only lived to improve that, including team collaboration, including mobile apps, and then integrations that needed there. Now, my background doesn't come into the unified communication space. It comes really from the contact center and the CX space. And so this middle block of customer experience represents a couple of things. I want to talk about the last few years of Nextiva's past. Primarily UC play, but we did launch a partnership with Five9, who my assumption is everyone on this call understands Five9 and knows of their expertise in the contact center as a service world. They are a Gartner Magic leading technology. I have a lot of respect for their team. I have a lot of respect for their platform. 4 years ago or so, I did not work for Nextiva, but as an outsider looking in on what was happening in the marketplace, I was interested to see this Five9 and Nextiva teamwork that was aligning. My personal opinion at the time and now was that the Five9 Nextiva relationship was a really great opportunity for Nextiva to decide if they really wanted to make a play into the CX space. And I think partnering with a Five9 gives you the opportunity to really get tribal knowledge in the CX space, really understand what you like, what you would change. And so for 3 or 4 years, Nextiva and Five9 had a great partnership. My understanding is 2, maybe 3 of those years, Nextiva was Five9's #1 partner. And a lot of the deployments that we sold with Nextiva, or I'm sorry, with Five9, it was actually the Nextiva team that did the selling and the deployment there. A couple things that we ran into. I think some of the customers that we were trying to acquire through that partnership with Five9, I think what we found was the customers needed something that was a little bit more flexible in the platform. I think Five9 again has a great platform. I think it's a big thing, a big box to move if you need it to be nimble. It's also a 15-year-old technology. And so as of a year and a half, 2 years ago, Nextiva has moved into an agreement where we have acquired a company called Threo. They are a contact center as a service and a CPaaS. And I have my opinion on CPaaS, and I'm going to take a quick pause on that here in just a second. But the Threo acquisition, not a lot of folks knew of Threo in our world and marketplace. And the majority of what Threo was selling was direct. A lot of global BPOs, a lot of major BPOs domestically as well. And when we think about BPOs, and I think that really sings to the idea that Threo was a resilient platform. BPOs are people that they're customers that think about not just the minutes or hours of downtime or the dollars lost, but they think about the pennies lost and the seconds that are saved. The other thing about BPOs is they demand flexibility. They have a number of things that are always changing with different customers as they serve different business lines and as they're answering on that. So while Threo doesn't have a household name in the marketplace, lots of deployments, lots of complex and flexible deployments. And again, from an outsider's perspective looking in, I think that Nextiva saw the success with Five9, but the capabilities with the Threo platform. And so moving forward, Nextiva will be selling Threo under the name NCC or Nextiva Contact Center. And for the remainder of the presentation and our relationship, I will be referring to it just as NCC, but no, under the background, it was formerly known as Threo. Now, part of that acquisition of the NCC product line gives us a great CCaaS omni-channel capabilities, but it also gives us a great CPaaS or communications platform as a service. And I talk to a lot of partners, and sometimes they understand CPaaS, and sometimes they think they understand it, sometimes they don't. The truth of the matter is, you will rarely find a customer that comes directly to you and says, please sell us a CPaaS. We have a CPaaS need, right? When I think of CPaaS, what I think about is, I think about my iPhone. It's been 10 or 12 years that I've had an iPhone. I always say that I buy it because it's a phone, but the truth is I buy my iPhone because of iOS. I buy it because of Apple's operating system. Because of all the applications on this phone, the phone application is probably the least one, the one that I use the least, right? I want this phone for the email capabilities. I want it for Twitter. I want it for Instagram. I want it for messaging, whether it's the native SMS messaging that's tied to my phone number. or whether it's WhatsApp or Uber, all of these different things. And the truth is, I rely on this thing. And the reason that I love iOS so much as a CPaaS is because if I'm on the road and maybe I'm coming into the Claris office, I pull up Apple Maps. It's already tied to my GPS, so it knows where I am based on that functionality. I want to see how long it's going to take for me to get from the hotel or the airport to the Claris office. It tells me through Apple Maps. I tell it I don't want to drive, but I actually want to do ride share. It automatically is integrated into Uber, which is going to open up the Uber app, right? Which then is going to connect me with a ride. And then maybe just before the driver gets here, it's going to, they're going to call me and say, hey, my vehicle is actually a white sedan, but they're not calling me from their number. It's masked because of the way that iOS is set up and the CPaaS is set up through Uber. Now, where this comes into play with NCC and Nextiva's unified CXM is the acquisition that we've made, and the CPaaS will allow us in a future state to deploy the left box of unified communications, the middle box of CCaaS and CX, and then the right box of NCX and DX, all allow us to deploy all of those on one common architecture platform. The right box is the one that a lot of you have seen before. I believe Zach Chambers on our team gave a learning session. It is a brand reputation. It is a social media monitoring. It is a competitor monitoring, very intuitive chatbot capabilities. This is one where a lot of the partners that I work with are excited about bringing into their existing customer base. I think a lot of CCaaS providers who are point solutions as CCaaS look at social media strictly as a channel that the contact center should handle. While I believe it lives in a CX person's hands, I don't believe it necessarily always lives inside of the contact center. And so why would we buy a full CCaaS license for someone who's only handling social media? However, I see a lot of brands that decided years ago that their company needed to have a Facebook page. And so they pulled in a marketing intern. No offense to the marketing interns that are on the call, but they told them, hey, use this Facebook tool as an opportunity to tell our customers just how great our brand is. And the customers saw it as an opportunity to publicly destroy when something went wrong from a customer experience standpoint on that brand. And quite frankly, a lot of those marketing interns or part-time employees or whoever it is were not prepared to handle those often customer experience questions, often customer service, or upsell opportunities when a customer is associating with a brand via social media. Take a quick break. I'm going to go back into NCC. It's a disappointment that this call is recorded because someone in my marketing team will see that I've adjusted these slides. I like to take marketing slides and make them a little more applicable. So this slide used to say NCC core differentiators, and I've instead changed it to say what they mean to you. Happy to go into specifics of architecture and automation and hybrid and all these things that are listed here. But what you need to know from an architecture standpoint is we have a global footprint. We are active, currently deployed in Google Cloud. However, if we needed to deploy the architecture on another public cloud, whether it was AWS or Microsoft Azure, that would be a possibility. The reason that we've not deployed in AWS or Azure right now is as a global customer comes to us and would necessitate that we deploy on something other than Google Cloud, there may be another global cloud that's better for us. Maybe it's an Alibaba because of where they are, or somewhere else that's closer to their physical destination. But the idea is the architecture we have now is Kubernetes-based, microservices-based. And so what that means to you is a global architecture allows you to look at customers that may be headquartered outside of just the domestic US or North America. So if you come across an opportunity And you may say, oh, we used to have to say no to this because they're, based in the Philippines, or, they have GDPR to consider because they have a headquarter or a main office, in Europe or UK. We can help support that for you now. When a vendor tells you that they have 5 nines or 4 nines or 6 nines, understand the 3.0 platform, since it was built, actually has 100% uptime. We're never going to put that on a marketing slide to show just because, but the reason that the uptime matters is customers aren't calling you for outages. And then there aren't maintenance windows. So microservices, we're not tied to a specific cloud, and if they have to drop something for a maintenance window, there's no time that's missing there. Automation, when I was a seller and carrying a bag 5-6 years ago, people were talking about AI, but really what they meant was front of call automation. I think AI and automation has a great purpose in the contact center. In fact, there are point solutions like Yellow AI that specifically look at front call AI, front call automation, sentiment over a call, during a call, how can we assist an agent? I really think that there's three main opportunities in the contact center as it relates to AI and automation. I think on the front end of the call, how can we more streamlined get the information and more quickly get the caller to an agent, the right agent, anything that can be done before the hands of the agent that are easy FAQs. We use AI for that. I think in the middle of the call, we can use sentiment. We can use analysis to pull in, hey, voice inflection is up, and this is a new agent. Maybe we need to have a supervisor intervene. I think that's really, really impactful. Years ago, we talked about using reporting to streamline QA and QM. And maybe you have a customer that is sensitive to litigation. And so, we used to search post-call only for the keyword sue, because they would say, I want to sue you, right? Any call that says that we're sensitive to litigation, we want that to go to a supervisor. And the good news is it cuts out all the calls where the word sue is not used. The problem is when you do that on reporting post-call, and you're not using generative AI or conversational AI, what you're missing is what's the difference between I'm not going to sue you guys versus I'm going to sue the pants off you guys versus I'm calling on behalf of my mother-in-law whose name is Sue. In a report, those are all going to be the same thing. So if we can use AI to further eliminate that, the calls that wouldn't apply to the behaviors that we're looking for. And lastly, I think AI and agent wrap-up, taking an hour-long conversation between customer and agent, I can only imagine that unless you're capped on your time for wrap-up, that's going to take minutes, maybe 10 minutes, to be able to get all the information down, assuming that we're not, taking notes and switching our focus as the agent during the call. If ChatGPT can summarize that and it's accurate in 10 seconds, that means a lot to an agency that may have 100 call center agents. It means a heck of a whole lot more even to folks that have hundreds and thousands of agents. So automation and AI just allows you to improve the customer's ROI and the cost of ownership. We're setting the agents up for success. We're not trying to eliminate agents with AI strategy. We're only trying to make their jobs easier and lower agent turnover. Agents is the biggest cost in almost every contact center that you'll see. And then if you bring in automation through Nextiva UCM to your customers, you will appear as the AI superhero to customers that either are about to ask or are already asking you for that. And then lastly, we have this really great hybrid platform. What that means to you is if you have a customer that comes to you and says, hey, we'd love to buy this, we'd love to move forward, but we've got this old legacy system that we're hanging on to, give us a crack at that. I know a lot of vendors would say that it would be a sticky integration, but the 3.0 platform has allowed us to show that we can do much better. NCC specifically, where we win, high volume, high complexity does not mean that you have to have thousands of agents. It just means we want traffic to go through. We want to show you, prove to you that the system is working and that we can add efficiency and ROI. Customers that need automation, customers that need flexibility, customization. They have an appetite for integration or they have an old legacy system, right? Where we don't, we are not yet FedRAMP certified. We don't have a sponsor. We've not gone down that path. If your business line is strictly SLED and FedRAMP, we can agree to be friends and move on, but we probably won't be registering FedRAMP deals with you guys. If you need predictive analytics, built-in WEM, WFM, we don't have it yet. Nice and Contact obviously does a great job there, as they were a contact center and a WFM that merged years ago. And then if you have very, very small deals, and I understand that there's a market for these, and Dialpad and TalkDesk have done a great job with the very small business. My opinion has always been that there's not a specific number of agents that is a bare minimum for a vendor. I would always caution, sell deals that are easy for you to win, deploy, and then continue to support. And I think a key factor there is, does your customer have a full-time employee that whenever you sell them, whatever system you sell them, they will have someone dedicated to picking it up and running with it. What the NCX core differentiators mean to you. This is the social media brand reputation piece that a lot of you saw with Zach Chambers on our team. The social brand reputation piece, a lot of people have seen, there's a competitor in our marketplace that does this a lot, and for some reason I've completely lost their name. But there's a lot of again, folks that maybe launch social media without the plan just right. This brand reputation piece allows you to sell a CX product into customers in a way that's probably going to be stickier, because the more that a brand leans into their valuable channels, the more a brand leans into their social media status, and the way that their customers are interacting with them through social media, the stickier you will be if you bring in a product like this, which traditionally would have to be a point solution, but now we can bring it all in under just as one of the options that Nextiva UCXM offers under this umbrella of CX. The NCX competitive intel piece is super cool. Not only through this platform can I look at my reviews, look at my customer responses, my sentiment scores, but I can also look at, hey, maybe I'm Lowe's and I'm interested in what Home Depot's been doing over the last month, or Menards, or maybe with 4th of July coming up, maybe you look up your competition and say, hey, I don't know what Home Depot was doing, but their sentiment score based on what they did for July 4th is a lot higher than ours. Maybe we need to do a better job when we think of our next promotion. And then NCX also offers a very robust a chatbot offering. So kind of next level chatbot stuff for your customers that are already using or considering using that. All right, so why should you sell Nextiva? We have this slide with the tagline that says Nextiva is 3 AI-powered solutions in one platform. I would rather view it as it's 3 different entry points for you to talk about CX to your customers. It's 3 different ways to get your foot in the door. A lot of our partners have only sold UC historically. Understandable, that's who we've been. If you're only selling UC to your customers and you're not looking at their contact center or their CX, I think what you're going to find is whoever sells them CX is going to cannibalize the voice at some point. So I would encourage you to use this as 3 different conversations to continue to talking about the CX opportunities with your customers, existing and new prospects. What customers should know: we are no longer just a UC company. That Nextiva Unified CXM allows for present and future needs to improve not only how they communicate with each other, but how they're going to better communicate with their customers and orchestrate the journeys there. All right, so what happens if you have an opportunity? Text, email, or call me in that order. If you want the fastest response, my email and my phone number are at the bottom here. We will officially register the app, make sure it gets approved, make sure it's not already sitting in the system. I like to have a quick call with you, with the salesperson that's assigned, make sure we understand rules of engagement. A lot of times we get other key details about the opportunity. Sometimes there's background knowledge or tribal knowledge that you'd like to share that maybe doesn't fit in the email, but that you want to talk to us through. And then we win these things and get paid. And my guess is that's probably everybody that's on this call. We want to do right by our customers. but we also want to provide for ourselves and for our families. And so I want to do all of these things with you guys. You can reach out to me anytime. Probably the cell phone is the best offering, but I'm going to take a pause now, and I'm going to ask if there are questions.
All right, we do have one question. First
Right.
one. Oh, can you hear me, Joe?
I can. Just wait to hear
Okay.
how hard this question is.
It's a doozy. Who is your ideal customer profile?
Yeah, I thought about that. We have a lot of literature about, I mean, from a voice perspective, we have customers in every vertical that you can think of. Again, when I think of ideal customer profile for UCXM, I think about people that care about their reputation. I think it's people that want to have competitive intel, customers that are interested in what they need now, and then future state, what will we need as our customer base continues, to change. I think a lot of people didn't want to do business over SMS, but the truth is, if you're outbound calling on people, they're not answering. But even when I know it's a spam text, I still read it. So like it's getting through to people. So I think it's customers that in any industry that are just trying to use CX as a way to become more intimate with their customer base and to really drive the needle, meet their customers where they're at.
Okay, our next question is, how do you show ROI on the reputation/social media management offering?
Yeah, so years ago, I worked with a company called Angie's List. They were headquartered here in Indianapolis, and we would often call on service providers, and you get a lot of guys who they're plumbers or electricians because their dad was an electrician, their grandpa was an electrician. This has been in their family forever. And so when they get a bad review, they take it personally. But the truth is, once the review is set out there, right? Like it's common knowledge. It is their reputation. And so once we would calm them down, I would always say, here's the thing, you need to respond to this review and you need to do it in a specific way. I'm going to walk you through how to do that. And the truth is, you don't respond to a review. And this is true for your customers that are on Google reviews and Amazon reviews and all these different review sites, and the responses they're getting through their X page and their Instagram and Facebook. You don't respond to a comment or a review for the person that writes it. You respond to it for the thousands of other people that are going to read it and say, hey, you know what? Like, things didn't go perfectly, but I really like how these people responded to taking ownership and wanting to do better. So for me specifically on the digital reputation piece, I think the ROI there is taking hold of something that could potentially be negative in the reputation, and changing the narrative and putting it in a position where you will get more business through the way that you respond.